Welcome to Notable Approvals. I am attorney Amanda Shaffer. Big welcome to anybody watching from Instagram. I am doing our first live on Instagram. I got a couple of cameras going on. So hopefully if anybody has any questions or comments, I'll see them all, do my best. If not, I'll get back to you after. And before I get to the case, just a reminder, make sure to like us, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any more of our lives. Today's case is about a client who is a native and citizen of Nepal. He first met his U.S. citizen wife in 2006 in Nepal. They were both working for the same nonprofit organization. She actually ended up living with him and his family in Nepal for a period of time. They got married in Nepal, and they would travel back and forth to U.S. They'd all stay with her family. They lived in California. And in 2009, he became a conditional permanent resident based on the I-130 that his wife filed for her. After that, the wife had to go back to Nepal for her work as well. And then the plan was that he was going to go to New York, where he was going to get experience in hotel management, which he has a college degree in, and start saving up some money. And when she was done with her work, which wasn't going to be that long, she was going to go meet him in New York, and that's where they were going to live and share their life together. However, there were some unforeseen life circumstances and situations that occurred that prevented this from happening. Her family had a lot of health issues. It started with her grandfather dying, put her mother into a bad depression. Her uncles had like a kidney failure. There was a whole bunch of things that this family was going through. And because of this, his wife had to go to California and take care of her family because they needed her. So at this point, they're still planning on eventually living together in New York. They didn't know how long she'd be in California, but they spoke every single day. And in 2011, she came to New York to visit him. She's an artist, so she went to look, at what some of her employment prospects would be here as well. Unfortunately, the long distance relationship became too much, and they decided mutually that it wasn't working out. They realized at a certain point that there really was no end to when she was going to be able to leave California and really start their life together. So they decided to, let's end it. We'll stay friends, and let's just get a divorce. And that's what they did. And then in 2011 or 2012, he filed an I-751 a petition to remove conditions on residence. Oh, if I didn't mention earlier, which I probably should have, that he got a 2-year green card, a conditional resident card, because at the time of the visa interview, they had been married for less than 2 years. So 3 months before the 2-year anniversary of having the conditional resident card, he had to file the petition to remove conditions on residence. And because they were divorced, he filed a self-petition based on a marriage that was entered into in good faith, but ended due to divorce. So he came to us after he had filed the petition, near when they had when he was called in for the interview. And for the interview, we helped him prepare an evidence package, and I attended the interview with him. And the interview went really well. The types of evidence that we submitted, because they didn't really have too many joint financial documents, because again, although they 100% intended to eventually start their life together. Hello, Malia. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, due to the unforeseen circumstances, they were unable to do so. So they had plenty of correspondence. We submitted text messages, emails, social media things, phone records to show that there was constant correspondence back and forth. We had photos, we had affidavits, we had the wife, because again, this was an amicable split. They really did want to be together, but life just wasn't allowing it. Malia, you want to have a word with me regarding VAWA? Well, I'm happy to help you. If you look on the bottom of the screen, my phone number and email address is scrolling across. Please reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. So we went to the interview, like I said. We brought the evidence package. It seemed to go well, but then it got denied. And that was a frustrating denial, because when you looked at the denial, remember I told you earlier that in 2007 is when they initially got married. 2009 was when he got the conditional resident card. And in 2011 or 12 around was when he had to file the I-751 petition. So in the denial letter, it said they're denying it because he didn't submit any evidence of their joint life together between 2009 and 2012. And that was the whole reason for the denial. And that the problem is that's a legal error. There doesn't meet the definition of what is a good faith marriage under the Immigration Nationality Act, which the definition says a good faith marriage is one where when you enter into the marriage that you intend to share a life together and that you're not marrying for the purpose of obtaining a green card. So the time period before getting married is relevant. The most important time period for this inquiry is when they get married. And what happens after the marriage, of course, is relevant, and the case law agrees that it's relevant, but it's not the end of the story. You can't just you can't take out a certain time period, an arbitrary time period, and say, well, in this time period, you guys weren't really together that much, so we're going to deny it. And that's what they essentially did. So we filed, and I've talked about this in a lot of our other lives, when you get a denial, what you're going to do, the decision between refiling and filing either an appeal or a motion to reopen or a motion to consider, that decision is going to depend on the specific facts of the case. I-751s, you have to remember also that you're going to get put into removal proceedings if you don't either file a motion or an appeal within 33 days of the decision, or refile right away. And he was already divorced. I don't know if he was divorced for 2 years already, but you have to file within that 2-year period. So we filed this motion to reopen, reconsider, and the whole argument, we showed them all the correspondence, the evidence. He put an affidavit explaining everything. So the whole argument was like, look, you're defining your own time period for when to look at the good faith marriage, and that's an error as a matter of law. We cited the law, we cited the case law. You have to start with before the marriage, look at the time of the marriage, and then everything else, yes, it's relevant, but is not controlling. And it didn't take too long for our motion to reopen / reconsider to get granted. My client, of course, was very happy when that happened. I'm not sure if he decided to apply for citizenship or not, but at this point he'd be eligible to do so. And it was a big relief because although, we could have renewed the petition before the immigration judge, if we lost the motion, it would have been a lot more stress, a lot more time. So this is such an interesting case to me because the relationship between these two people was very unique. Number one, they met outside the country, lived with each other's family for months, probably like half a year at a time. They had all these plans to really start their married life together, but something got in the way. And I've said so many times on these lives as well that no marriage is the same as another marriage. Everybody has differences, and you can't say that one is real because it has this, or not real because it has that, or doesn't have that. So you have to really look at the facts and circumstances. And the fact of the matter was, these two people 100% intend to spend their life together, but things happened that prevented that and led to a divorce. And that's okay, as long as you're able to prove all of that, which we did. So that is all for today for notable approvals. I hope on Instagram, it looks like we got a couple people watching. So I'm glad. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Malia, reach out to me, give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll get to your question about VAWA. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another notable approval. Have a great night. How do I end this one, guys? I want to end.